सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। चंचलमन नित राम जपा कर चंचलमन नित राम जपा कर पल पल छिन छिन घड़ी घड़ी निस दिन राम जपा कर राम जपा कर चंचल मन नित राम जपा कर। प्रात समय की शुभ वेला में संध्य समय की पुलकित रजनी रोम रोम से निकले तेरे राम जपा कर राम जपा कर चंचल मन नित राम जपा कर। गहरा सागर टूटी नैया जीवन तरणी राम खेवैया पार करेंगे राम जपा कर राम जपा कर राम जपा कर चंचल मन नित राम जपा कर। सार तत्व की खोज किए जा प्रेम सरस रस रोज पिए जा पार करेंगे राम जपा कर राम जपा कर राम जपा कर चंचल मन नित राम जपा कर। पल पल छिन छिन घड़ी घड़ी निस दिन राम जपा कर राम जपा कर चंचल मन नित राम जपा कर। Hari Om and prostrations to one and all. So in the last class, we were discussing the 10th verse. So let us chant that verse once again. Mai chananya yogena bhaktiravvyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam A-RATI JANASANSADISHU. So now we will see the 16th value in this list, that is Bhakti. Bhakti means devotion unto the Lord. So what kind of devotion we have to practice? So Bhagavan says, avyabhicharini bhakti, non-wavering devotion. Ananya yogena, because of single pointedness, because of no otherness, bhakti has to be unwavering. How to develop devotion for God? How to develop love for God? The easiest way is pay attention to how much God loves us. This is the way. When we realize how much God loves us, we start loving God. When we pay attention to the realities of life, we come to know how much we are cruel to God. Normally people say, God is cruel to us. But when you start paying attention to the realities of life, we come to know how much we are cruel to God. Swamiji, how can you say that? Start analyzing. God is always with us, but we never bother about Him. God is always with us, but we never bother about Him. God is always paying attention to us. 100% attention. All these things you will know only when you look within. It is something which you can directly experience. God is somebody who is always paying attention to us, but we never pay attention to Him. As you progress in meditation, you will clearly see all this. 100% attention, constant attention. As though we are the only one in this world. That perfect is His attention which He pays to us. And what is our attitude? We never pay attention to Him. How much is His love? His love is infinite love towards us. He loves us infinitely. Because we are His self. To what extent do we love ourselves? Infinite love we have towards ourselves. In the same way, Bhagavan's love for us is infinite. And what is our attitude towards Him? We don't have even an iota of love. Bhagavan is an embodiment of all goodness, but we are not able to love Him. See our pathetic condition. He loves us infinitely, but we are not able to love Him. His love for us is unconditional. Love in spite of is called unconditional love. In spite of our, weaknesses, inabilities, imperfections, we are embodiments of Kama and Krodha. We are embodiments of Raga and Dvesha. All imperfections are there in full measure in us. Still, He is able to love us. That is His greatness. We are unfit for loving, but still He loves us. This is called as unconditional love. Bhagavan's love for us is unconditional. Even though we are not fit for it. Every moment He guides us. There is a loving guidance of Bhagavan every moment. We don't pay any attention to that guidance. See our attitude. We don't pay any attention to His guidance. We never listen to Him. As we withdraw our attention and pay our attention to that Lord, we realize all these things about ourselves. Here is somebody who is lovingly guiding us every moment, but we don't pay any attention to Him. We don't listen to Him. God is somebody who is taking care of us every moment. We are alive because of Him. He is working day and night, fulfilling all of our needs and wants, taking care of our welfare and well-being. And what is our attitude? Attitude of ingratitude. This is our attitude. We are absolutely ungrateful towards Him. Look at this. There is somebody who is constantly working day and night to keep us alive. And what is our attitude? Ingratitude. We get and forget. He gives and forgives. We have everything to gain by loving Him, and everything to lose by ignoring Him, but still we don't love Him. This is our attitude. And what is His attitude? He has nothing to gain by loving us, nothing to lose by ignoring us, but still He continues to love us. See the attitude. We keep ignoring Him, He keeps loving us. And then what do we say? God is cruel to us. What is the fact? We are cruel to God. This is the fact. And what is the price we pay for practicing this cruelty? When you are cruel to God, you neglect God, you ignore God, you cannot love God. When you are not able to love God, you start loving the world. When you love the world, you enter into the world. And what is this entering into the world? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. And what is our experience in this world? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkham. Only sorrow is our experience in this world. Why are we experiencing sorrow? We are experiencing sorrow because we have done a very, very big sin. What is the sin? Forgetting God, ignoring God, ignoring His love. So we are all very, very cruel people. So you will find in Bhagavad Gita there is only one single message of Bhagavad Gita. Like a mother, this Gita is telling, oh my dear child, turn to me, turn to me, turn to me, don't turn to this world. This is a single message of Mother Gita. Like a concerned mother, concerned about her own child, suffering child. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Give up everything and turn to me, surrender to me, come to me. Ananyāścintayanto mam JñāNA paryupāsate. Mayyeva mana ādhatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva. Māmeva ye prapadyante māyāmetāṃ tarantite. Manmana bhava, madbhakto bhava, madhyaji mam namaskuru. Tasmāt sarveshu kāleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, if there is one message, that is, turn to me, turn to me, turn to me, don't turn to this world. Devan devejo yanti, pitrun yanti pitruvrataha. Bhutani yanti bhutejyaha, madbhakta yanti mamapi. Whatever you pay attention to, you will get there. And everything is full of sorrow only. Therefore, my dear child, turn to me. I am the only source of happiness. This is the central message of Bhagavad Gita. So let us understand, because we are cruel to God, we are suffering. And that Bhagavan, even though we neglect Him, He keeps on paying attention. He keeps on taking care of us. He keeps on loving us. So the more and more we realize the greatness of the Lord, the more and more we develop love for Him. So the only way to love God is realize how much Bhagavan is loving us. And if you develop this one virtue called devotion for God, all the other virtues will start occupying your heart. This is the beauty of devotion. She is the mother of all virtues. continuing. So that is 16, Bhakti 16. The next one is Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Value number 17, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Resorting to solitary places for solitude. Making this a habit. Now and then going into solitude. This should be practiced. In all sadhanas, solitude is a must. In all tapascharya, solitude is a must. Isn't it? A musician truly becomes a musician in solitude. A sports person practices in solitude. An artist practices in solitude. Everybody needs solitude. A philosopher thinks in solitude. A sadhaka does Shravana Manana Nididhyasana in solitude. So therefore, solitude is very, very essential. All our sadhanas, puja, japa, meditation, everything happens in solitude. So just like a hungry person needs food, a thirsty person needs water, in the same way a sadhaka needs solitude. Now here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gives us certain tips regarding what kind of solitary place you must choose. So Bhagavan says, Viviktaha Swabhavatah Samskarena va. What kind of solitary place it should be? It may be Swabhavatah natural or Samskarena artificial. It doesn't matter what kind of place it is. It can be natural or artificial. Bhagavan, what do you mean by natural solitary place? So Bhagavan says, Aranya Nadi Pulina Devagrihadipihi Vivikta Deshaha. So it can be a forest, it can be some banks of a river, it can be some temple. They are all Swabhavatah, natural solitary places. So what is important in this place? The place should be clean, the place should be distraction free and danger free. This is what Bhagavan says. Ashuchyadibihi sarpa vyagradibihi cha rehitaha. So when you select places like forest, etc., the place should be clean and it should be free from sarpa, snake, vyagra, tigers, etc. Don't select such places. A place should be such that you should feel secure about yourself, the place should be clean and you should be able to withdraw your mind without any worries about external dangers. This is what Bhagavan says. So therefore the place should be clean, distraction free and danger free. So Bhagavan says even artificial place is okay. So nowadays the best thing would be to sit in your own room. You don't have to go anywhere. What is the most important thing? It is a withdrawal of the mind. Let us please keep this in mind. There are so many people who create so much of fuss about the place of meditation. Please understand, it is not the place which is important. What is important is to what extent you are able to withdraw. Some people give so much of importance to place that they don't give any importance to the quality of the mind. I know of a person who has created a Himalayan-like environment around him. So his philosophy is, the Himalayan yogis are meditating beautifully well, it is because of the surrounding. So let me create that surrounding here. And so what did he do? In his own room he has placed all the Himalayan rocks. He got Himalayan rocks from there, fixed it all around his house, in his room. Through AC, he adjusted the temperature, Himalayan temperature. And then through sound box, he created a sound of Mother Ganga flowing. So the flow of the river that you can hear. Temperature you adjusted. Environment by choosing all Himalayan rocks around, sticking it around, you have chosen. And now he thinks he will get the quality of meditation of a Himalayan yogi. Now this is called foolishness. Your meditation has nothing to do with the external surroundings. Your meditation depends solely on how much of bhakti you have, how much of jnana you have, how much of vairagya you have, how much of these virtues, these values you have. This is what is going to determine the quality of your meditation and not your external adjustments. Let it be very clear. So don't do this mistake. So vivikta desha sevitvam, choose a nice place for sadhana, a solitary place. So that is verse, value number 17. Value number 18 is A-RATI JANASANSADISHU. Janasamsadi aratihi. Non-reveling disinterest in Janasansad. What is Janasansad? Assembly of people. May you not revel in the assembly of people. Now naturally a question comes, Bhagavan, do you mean to say that I should give up even Satsang? Association with good people? No. So here Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, what kind of people we should abandon, give up? So Bhagavan says, Jananam, Prakritanam, Samskara Shunyanam, Avinitanam, Samsad Samavayah, Janasansad. So beware. What kind of Janasansad is mentioned here? Janasansad means assembly of people. But what kind of people? Jananam, these people who are Prakritanam, Samskara Shunyanam, Avinitanam. Very gross, worldly minded, materialistic, extroverted, unrefined, virtueless, non-spiritual, totally worldly, arrogant. Such people, the company of such people we must avoid. But Bhagavan says, Na samskaravatam, vinitanam samsat. Not the cultured ones, the spiritual ones. No. Don't give up that company, because tasya jnana upakarakatvat, because that company is absolutely essential. Satsang is absolutely essential because tasya jnana upakarakatvat, because we gain jnanam, we gain knowledge only from such company. Satsang is absolutely essential. So when it is said A-RATI JANASANSADISHU, the term used is Janasansad. So please understand, Ataha Prakrita Janasamsadi A-RATIhi. So though it is said Janasansad, we have to understand. What we have to understand? Prakrita Janasamsadi A-RATIhi. So choose the company. What kind of company? Satsang you choose, Dussang you leave. Dussangah sarvatha tyajyah. This is the meaning. Give up bad company. What is bad company? Anything which fills your mind with worldly samskara is a bad company. And any company which fills your mind with spiritual samskara is a good company. Satsanga is absolutely essential. In fact, you will find that as you evolve in spirituality, you will find all these worldly people start getting repelled from you. You will see this. And spiritual people start getting attracted towards you. Because there is a deep relation between what you think and the world around you. So if your spiritual samskaras are increasing, you will find spiritual people coming towards you and worldly people going away from you. Those people who are interested in restaurants and cinemas, in clubs and pubs, all sensuous people you will find slowly receding away from you. If you are seeing this, you can congratulate yourself. It simply means your spiritual samskaras are becoming strong. It must happen. Satsangatve, nihi-sangatvam must happen. From association with the wise, you start getting disassociated with the otherwise. It must happen. Those people may be your near and dear ones, beloved ones, your own relatives, yes, but if they are worldly people, you will not enjoy their company. If you are not enjoying their company, because the discussion will be about Kamini, Kanchana, Kirti, Discussion will be about all the worldly matters. If you are not enjoying that company, Bhagavan says, congratulations, you are truly progressing. A-RATI is a virtue. Please keep this in mind. Discussion, the interest in spiritual matter, there should be rati. When discussions about worldly matter happen, there should be arati. If this is there, it's a very good sign. Keep it up. That's what Bhagavan says. So, aratir janasansadi. Now the next verse. Adhyatma-jnana nityatvam tattva-jnanartha-darshanam etat-jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha. Yes. Now the value number 19. Adhyatma-jnana nityatvam. Nityatvam, constancy in what? Adhyatma-jnana, in spiritual knowledge. Constant practice of spiritual knowledge. Why should we practice the spiritual knowledge constantly? We should practice because what is the law of this universe? The law of this universe is what you do depends on what you see. What you see depends on what you know, and what you know depends on what you have learned. This is the law. What you do depends on what you see. What you see depends on what you know, and what you know depends on what you have learned. An example will make it clear. Recently, some 5 children, they were electrocuted. Electric wire had broken and it was fallen down. It had fallen down. Some children were playing there. So somebody hit the ball and the ball went near that wire. So one child came. Seeing this wire, the child held on to the wire and he was immediately electrocuted there. Another child came. That child saw this child holding the wire and fallen. This fellow wanted to help the child. He caught hold of the child. He was also electrocuted. Third one came. He was also. Fourth one came. 5 children at a stretch. All of them died. Then came another person. He saw this. He took one big stick, removed the children. What is the mistake? You see, the child saw the wire and what did he do? He caught hold of the wire. Why? Because he did not see electricity. Why he did not see electricity? Because he did not know electricity. Why he did not know electricity? Because he has never learned about electricity. You see, what you do depends on what you see. What you see depends on what you know, and what you know depends on what you have learned. The other person took a stick and removed. Why did he take a stick? Because what was he seeing? Physical eyes, he was seeing the wire, but with his eye of knowledge, with jnana chakshu, he was seeing electricity. He was seeing electricity. Why? Because he knew electricity. Why? Because he had studied about electricity. Therefore, he took the stick. See the difference between doing of the children and doing of this man. The point is this: the world appears to be same for everybody, but people who have jnana chakshu, they have a totally different world. Just like this electricity. A person who has not studied electricity, he sees the wire. But a person who has studied electricity, he not only sees the wire, he sees a live wire. He sees a wire with electricity. That electricity is something which he sees with his jnana chakshu. Not with bahya chakshu, but with jnana chakshu. The eye of wisdom. So this world is also like that. There are so many things, but if you don't develop the eye of wisdom, there is all the possibility you will be misled by what you have seen. So what has to be done? Jnana chakshu has to be developed. So that is why it is said, Adhyatma-jnana nityatvam. Constantly practice what? Spiritual knowledge. Why? To develop this eye of wisdom. To give a very simple example, this body, what do you see? What do you see in this body? An ordinary person will not see anything. A chemical professor will see a bundle of chemical in this body. A medical professor will see so many functionings in this body, so many organs in this body. A sensuous person will see this body as an object to satisfy all carnal desires. Different people are seeing this body differently. Now, how will a Vedantin see this body? Remember, everybody is having the body, but what is your understanding about the body? This understanding is different in different people. And that difference is based on what you know. So what will be the understanding of a Vedantin as far as this body is concerned? Panchikrita panchamaha bhutehi kritam satkarma janyam sukha dukkhadi bhogayatanam asti jayate vardhate viparinamate apakshiyate vinashyati iti shad vikaravat etat sthula shariram. Those who have studied Tattva Bodha, they will know. Those who have not studied Tattva Bodha, they will not know. Why? Absence of Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. What is this body? There is a definition given. With this definition, when you think, when you reflect, you get an idea. By the way, those people who have not listened to Tattva Bodha, everything is there in the YouTube, you can search and get it. Tattva Bodha is a basic text for all Vedantic students, where every technical term is beautifully described, is introduced. So it's a basic text for those who are interested in Vedanta. So start from Tattva Bodha. Yes. So a Vedantin, when he sees this body, his understanding is totally different. He knows that this body has come out of prarabdha karma. This body is a beautiful instrument to realize the self, to get liberated. This body is a wonderful opportunity. And he also knows that I am not this body is only an instrument for me. I am the observer of the body is an observed thing. All these things he knows when he sees the body. See the difference? A person who doesn't know, he is also living. A person who knows, he is also living. But there is such a huge difference in their living. An ignorant man, what is the goal of his life? Eat, mate, sleep, die. That is his goal. What about a knowledgeable person? Love, serve, meditate, realize. See the difference. Yogi and a bhogi, 180 phase shift. One goes in one direction, the other goes in the other direction. What makes the difference? This knowledge makes the difference. A bhogi, through his action, he binds himself. A yogi, through his actions, he liberates himself. What makes the difference? Knowledge makes the difference. So the most important thing in this world is knowledge, right understanding. How to gain that right understanding? Practice. Nityatvam means what? Practice. Constant practice. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam means constantly practicing, so that this knowledge becomes effortless in you. This knowledge becomes spontaneous in you. Just like a person who knows electricity, he spontaneously, effortlessly, he sees electricity in a wire. In the same way, when we see this world, when we see ourselves, when we see everything, all what we see should be backed by the knowledge of Vedanta. Then your vision is a perfect vision. Then all your doings will be perfect doings. Actions become perfect. Your response to the worldly situations become perfect. Your speech becomes perfect. Everything becomes perfect when the knowledge is perfect. So therefore, pay attention to this knowledge. That is what is being said. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. What should be the inspiration in practicing the spiritual knowledge? So the last one, the 20th one, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Darshanam, may you constantly see what? Artha, purpose of what? Tattva Jnana, of spiritual knowledge. May you constantly see the purpose for which you are trying to gain this knowledge. Let that purpose be the inspiration for you in practicing spiritual knowledge. See this. So what is Tattva-jnana Artha? The purpose of spiritual knowledge. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says it is nothing but moksha, liberation. So what is Tattva-jnana Artha Darshanam? It is moksha darshanam. All the spiritual sadhanas I am doing, for what? It is for liberation. So therefore, let this goal be glowing in your mind. The goal of liberation. It is for this I am doing everything. You may have short-term goals, long-term goals, mid-term goals, but lifetime goal has to be only one, that is liberation. Let this liberation, freedom from all limitations and imperfection, that is called moksha. Experience of fullness, experience of fulfillment, total contentment, that is moksha. Freedom from all limitations, miseries and imperfections. Let this be the goal. And let that goal inspire you in order to put more and more effort in the path of spirituality. Tattva-jnana Artha Darshanam. And what does Bhagavan say? So this is the 20th value, the last value. Bhagavan says, Etat jnanam. This is knowledge. Ajnanam yatato anyatha. All the other is opposite of knowledge. It is ignorance. Now this is a very, 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 very important statement. Etat jnanam means what? Interestingly, here Bhagavan calls all these 20 virtues as knowledge. He says this is self-knowledge. How can virtues be self-knowledge? Virtues are self-knowledge because these virtues make the mind fully prepared for knowledge. After gaining these virtues, gaining knowledge is very easy. That's the meaning here. Gaining knowledge is very, very easy for a person who has cultivated these virtues. Now this is a very important point for us because what Bhagavan is saying is cultivate these virtues. If you are growing in these virtues, only then can we say you are progressing in spirituality. A very important statement. How do I know that I am progressing in spirituality? This is a question which very many times people ask. For so many years I have been in this path. How am I to know that I am progressing in spirituality? Bhagavan says, look at these virtues. Are you growing in these virtues? Look at yourself. Before coming to spirituality, how you were. After coming to spirituality, after so many years, how you are. Compare your past I with your present I. Compare. Are you growing in these virtues? Are you becoming more and more peaceful person? Are you becoming lesser and lesser irritable person? Is the irritability level decreasing? Are you becoming more forgiving, more considerate, more compassionate, more kind? Is your love for God increasing? Is your dispassion towards world decreasing? Is your likes and dislikes, kama, krodha, etc. decreasing? Are you becoming a better and better person? Look within and say for yourself. If you say, yes, Swamiji, there is such a big change after coming to spirituality, after listening to all these talks, there is such a big change seen in me. How I was, how miserable I was, and how much I have improved. Swamiji, there is a huge difference. If you can say this, congratulations, you are indeed progressing in spirituality. You have made a very good use of this human birth. Your path is right. You have nothing to worry. You are progressing. Don't worry. Have patience. Keep on going in the same path. A day will come when you will reach. Nothing to worry. This is the meaning here. Etat jnanam means what? This is it. Virtues must grow in you. This is important because ajnanam yadatonyatha, anything other than this, it is ajnanam only. If you say, no, virtues are not growing, but there are so many other things which are growing, it's of no use. Don't get misled. We are not interested in how many hours of meditation you do. We are not interested. We are not interested in how many malas of japa you do. No. We are not interested in how many scriptures you have studied. No. We are not interested in how many mantras you have by hearted. No. We are not interested in what kind of dress you wear. Whether sannyasi's clothes or a grihastha's clothes, we are not interested. We are not interested in what kind of profession you are. We are not interested in what kinds of marks you have on your forehead, horizontal lines or vertical lines. We are not bothered about it. You may have so many marks on your body. No. These are not the signs of spiritual progress. What is the sure sign of spiritual progress? The sure sign is only one. The growth in these values. And we will know by ourselves when we look into ourselves. There are very many people who, even after remaining in spirituality, nothing has happened to them. Why? In fact, the danger is something opposite can also happen. Instead of developing amanitvam, manitvam can happen. Full of ego. Holier than thou attitude. I am a person who has understood spirituality properly. Others are all ignorant ones. They are inferior ones. I am the superior one. The arrogance of knowledge, it can come. So are you progressing or are you regressing? Very dangerous. That's why Bhagavan says, etat jnanam. If you are progressing in this path, definitely it is you are progressing towards knowledge. You will definitely gain knowledge. But ajnanam, otherwise, it is possible that you are in spirituality, practicing spiritual sadhanas, and still you are not progressing. It is possible. A person can become arrogant because of his spiritual practices. It is possible. I get up early in the morning, Swamiji. Brahma Muhurta I get up. Very good. Now he is proud of that. I eat only once, Swamiji. Wonderful. He is proud of that also. I do this much malas of japa, Swamiji. He is proud of that. Now what is happening? Instead of amanitvam growing, what is growing? Manitvam is growing. Very, very dangerous. Some people are proud of their Vedic chanting. They chant loudly and try to show how much they know. They are all expressions of what? That is dambhitvam, if you see. Instead of adambhitvam, what is increasing? Dambhitvam is increasing. You have to be very, very careful. So that's why Bhagavan says, etat jnanam. So if you are increasing in virtues, know for sure you are progressing in spirituality. Otherwise you may do any kind of yoga, it's of no use. Whether it is Kundalini yoga or Hatha yoga, whatever yoga you do, if this is not happening, you are not progressing. Make it very clear. In short, practice in spirituality. Spiritual growth directly depends on what? Increase of virtues. I should become a virtuous person. I should become a better person, a good person, a noble person, a loving person. If this is happening, only then we are progressing in spirituality. It should be very clear. Etat jnanam iti proktam. And Bhagavan loves such people. This also has to be kept in mind. Whom does Bhagavan love? Bhagavan loves those people who are working hard to cultivate these virtues in themselves. Such people are called sadhus. Sadhus doesn't mean ochre color cloth. No. Who is a sadhu? Sadhu is a person who has a good heart. Good-hearted person. Who is a good-hearted person? A virtuous person is a good-hearted person. And what is Bhagavan's promise? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. Bhagavan says, in order to protect these sadhus, these virtuous people, sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagavan loves these sadhus because these sadhus are the people who are his representatives. See that? In this world, who are the representatives of God? Sales representative of God. Who are they? The sadhus are the one. The purpose of avatara is dharma samsthapana. In order to do dharma samsthapana, what do Bhagavan do? He protects the sadhus, increase the number of sadhus. Dharma samsthapana is possible only through sadhus. So what does Bhagavan do? He protects the sadhus. Virtuous people Bhagavan loves. So therefore let us try to cultivate these virtues as much as possible in us. In 12th chapter Bhagavan says, I love them so much. They are extremely dear to me. The list is given. And all those lists, it is nothing but these virtues of life. So if I want to be dear to Bhagavan, what should I do? If I want to be dear to Bhagavan, I must pay attention in cultivating these virtues. Then I become dear to Bhagavan. The 8 days talk has come to an end. Before winding up, let me make 1 or 2 points clear. In this talk series, very many people have been criticized. Let us keep this in mind. The purpose of this criticism is only to learn from their mistakes. The purpose of criticism is not to show oneself superior to others. It is said the wise people learn from others' mistakes. The mediocre people learn from their own mistakes. And the foolish people, they never learn. So the purpose of criticizing others is only to learn from their mistake. Personally, I feel when I look within myself, I must confess that sometimes I feel whether forget about devatas or manavas, I sometimes feel I am a dhanava only. When I look within, I find all kinds of imperfections within me. But yes, I must admit that in those rare moments when I pray to God, when I cry and weep in front of God, I must admit that I get a glimpse of all these virtues that are mentioned here. I get a glimpse. And when do I get that glimpse? When I am in tune with the Lord. So therefore, I must say that if at all you are seeing anything good in me, the sole credit goes to God alone and not to me. In fact, very many times I think myself to be like that old woman sitting on the street selling vegetables. So here is this lady sitting on the roadside, spreading her gunny bag, some few potatoes, some few tomatoes, that's all. And those potatoes and tomatoes also shrunken because of the constant heat from the outside. And she is sitting there with an umbrella, a broken umbrella. The black cloth has become grey. And this lady with a swollen cheek. Why is the cheek swollen? Because of the pan. She is enjoying the juice of that pan, rosy lips, not because of lipstick, but because of this red pan. She is sitting there in rags in that hot sun. And next to it is a huge mall selling fresh vegetables, varieties of vegetables, beautifully packaged at discount prices. They are sold in air-conditioned rooms. Next to this mall is this lady sitting there, selling shrunken potatoes and tomatoes. Compared to very many great people in the society, I consider myself as this old lady. In this society, you will find there are so many people, they may not be talking about spirituality. They may not be talking about these values, but they live it and show it. They may not be even sannyasis. They may be ordinary household people, but well advanced in all these virtues. They must become our role models, our inspiration. This lady is selling potatoes and tomatoes. Now you may ask, who will purchase from her? Why is she selling it? The answer is, she doesn't know anything other than this profession. Therefore she is selling it. God is indeed kind that she also gets her business. That is kindness of God. In the same way, why am I speaking about these virtues? I am speaking only because it's my profession to speak about this. Swadhyaya pravachana is our profession. I am speaking about these virtues doesn't mean that I am an embodiment of these virtues. No, I have all imperfections in full measure. But yes, in rare moments, when Bhagavan becomes kind enough, he shows a glimpse of these virtues. And that's what I have presented in front of you. I remember a very nice incident. So Swami Akhandanji Maharaj was seated there. Next to him was seated Swami Chidanji Maharaj. He was sitting on the floor. Another Swamiji, Swami Nikhilanji Maharaj, he was Shankaracharya of Puri. He was also there. They were all devotees of Akhandanji Maharaj. So somebody asked a question to Akhandanji Maharaj. Swamiji, will you please explain Nirmana moha jitasanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama? Will you please explain this verse? Akhandanji Maharaj turned to Chidanji Maharaj and said, here is an embodiment of whatever is said there. Here is a person who lives it. Chidanji Maharaj, he was shrunk with shyness. Later on, after Akhandanji Maharaj spoke, Chidanji Maharaj also. Chidanji Maharaj is our Divine Life Society, Chidanji. So Chidanji Maharaj spoke after that. He said, if Swamiji is saying that I am an embodiment of these virtues, then he must be right. He cannot be wrong. Then Chidanji Maharaj explained, suppose there is a room and somebody has kept a basket of fruits in that room. And that person says, in that room, there is a basket of fruits. If that person says, the room cannot deny it. Because the one who has kept is the one who is saying. So therefore the room cannot say, no, there are no fruits here. It cannot say. In the same way, this Chidanji is like that room. These are the Mahatmas who have kept these virtues in this physical body. So therefore, if they say that these virtues are there in this entity, then they must be right. They cannot be wrong. See how beautifully Chidanji Maharaj said this. In the same way, whatever values we find, it is put here. There have been so many Mahatmas from whom we have gained this inspiration. And whenever we are in tune with God, we find these virtues in us. So therefore, to whom should we give credit to? If at all we are seeing any virtues in us, the credit should be given to the Supreme Lord. The credit should be given to all Mahatmas in the society who have inspired us in cultivating these virtues. They are all supermodels. May we all understand the value of these values. May we all practice these values and become extremely dear to God. And thus, after becoming extremely dear to God, may we become one with God. In this regard, I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord and blessings of the entire Guru Parampara. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.